I've spent 20,000 hours prescribing ADHD medication to adults. Early on in doing this work, I quickly realized after medication was optimized, the vast majority of my patients wouldn't be able to learn the behavioral strategies that changed my life. Time and time again, I began to see the same patterns emerge. This led me to develop the Survival Modality. The Survival Modality is a useful tool to help me understand a person's unique defense mechanisms and to know what their path to healing looks like. It all determines work that needs to happen beyond medication. Because here's the thing, medication puts your ADHD brain online, but your nervous system? That's the operating system you've been running through childhood or adolescence. And until you understand what operating system you're running, you're just gonna be confused by the same patterns that keep showing up. And before you start thinking, oh great, here's another personality test, stop. These aren't personality types. They're automatic, patterned nervous system responses that are involuntary. Today, I'm gonna break down each of the 8 modes and how they can potentially disrupt ADHD treatment. So let's jump into it. Mode 1, the Diplomat. When you're in Diplomat mode, your body tells you one thing. Keeping the peace is safety. In the deepest fear, the group falling apart. Because if the group ruptures, they'll lose their peace entirely. When triggered, they'll panic externally, immediately scanning everyone's emotions like a human smoke detector, trying to smooth things over in the future before a conflict even starts. Here's the thing about people in Diplomat mode. They usually want talk therapy, maybe for anxiety, but they like to talk a lot, especially when there's problems with family or at work. I can sit there and watch someone in Diplomat mode process their mother-in-law's passive-aggressive comment about their casserole for 45 minutes straight. The Diplomat disrupts ADHD treatment by failing to have the introspection to notice it at all. They're so busy managing everybody else's emotional temperature, they can hardly notice they're increasingly distractible and barely able to hold a conversation. It's like trying to help someone put out the fires in other houses while their own is burning down. Mode 2, Charmer. The Charmers learned being liked is survival. Their biggest fear? Being left out, being cast aside by the people that they need. When triggered, they latch. They can't be alone. They perform, they get dramatic, there might be some tears. They need someone to watch them for it to feel real. Charmer mode disrupts treatment by partying too much and failing to set boundaries. I'll prescribe medication and they'll come back the next month being like, yeah, things are going much better at work, but there's a lot of drama in my friend group. But I did go to Cabo last month and it was sick. Medication is actually key for them. It can actually help them spot the patterns they keep falling into. These people will be thinking about boundaries before any to-do list. Their homework, it's not organize your desk, it's learn to exist without someone watching. Mode 3, the Operator. The Operator runs on utility. They learn if I function well, I stay safe. Their deepest fear? Being responsible, being blamed, being the problem, being held accountable for someone else's pain. When triggered, they'll push. Emotions get locked down. Distance gets created and function replaces feeling. Operators have trouble admitting there's an issue. Their nervous system shuts down and they have trouble identifying any other problems besides inattention, because the kind of introspection required threatens their entire nervous system. Before ADHD treatment, everything was go with the flow. They're very likely to start thinking about things they've never thought about before. Suddenly, they're like, wait a minute, I have feelings about things? This is terrible. Can we go back? Mode 4, the Strategist. The Strategist believes if I can think through it, I'll be safe. Their deepest fear? Catastrophic loss. Something terrible is always just around the corner. When triggered, they freeze. Mentally, they're ruminating and obsessing, stuck in their head while their body is literally screaming for attention. ADHD medication will help them sort through the mental chaos, but they'll still have anxiety, especially around boundary setting at home or at the office. The biggest problem a strategist can have? Using logic to think their way into horrible situations. Their body's thinking, I'm dying. And they're like, but my spreadsheet says. With therapy, they can do great. They usually need help with boundaries, but do great with the ADHD skills. Go ahead and hit that like button right now. Mode 5, the General. The General learned the only emotional currency that matters is strength. Their biggest fear? Not being enough, being weak, being overlooked, being worthless. When triggered, they attack. Anger becomes armor, and fighting becomes the default response for any threat. Road rage, check. Workplace conflict, check. Every conversation is a potential battlefield, double check. They may have particular resistance to therapy, but they'll come around eventually. I have to build rapport over weeks, months, maybe even years. Because if you push too hard, the general pushes back. It's physics. Mode number 6, the Watcher. The Watcher operates on invisibility. Remaining invisible is safety. Their biggest fear? That something is fundamentally wrong with them, something they can't fix or explain. When triggered, their body holds everything. Somatic tension, chronic anxiety, emotional shutdown. These types are talking boundaries mostly. The medication stuff tends to fall into place because they're used to taking care of themselves, so medication will help right away. Since there's no previous group reinforcement, they tend to be more comfortable with behavioral change. They're like, oh, you mean I can just change without fighting about it first? Interesting. Mode 7, the Shield. The Shield system runs on protection. I exist to keep others safe. Their deepest fear? That their existence hurts the people that they love. When triggered, they fawn. Panic drives them to absorb everyone else's pain. These types are definitely going to talk about boundaries. They likely were parentified, meaning there was no room for their own emotions because they had to take care of an adult, most likely a parent. I can't imagine anyone in shield mode needing help with anything besides emotions. Asking for help can be really hard, but doing it can also be really helpful. These are the most vulnerable types, but they put up such a good face that they can be easily missed or dismissed as the easy patient. They're polite, and they say everything's fine. Meanwhile, internally, it's like a nuclear bomb went off and they're just smiling through it. Mode 8, the Martyr. The Martyr learned suffering equals love. Their deepest fear? Rejection. Because they've already accepted being worthless just to be able to stay with the group. When triggered, they self-destruct. Dysregulated attachment, proving their own worth through pain. These are the people that have been scapegoated, likely in a dysfunctional family, and they carry a lot of shame. Here's the plot twist. They tend to do great with ADHD treatment, even with scapegoating, abuse, and situations and circumstances that on the surface are really bad. You're more likely to see through it all and develop life changes that matter. It's kind of like, oh, you mean my family was wrong about me? And I don't have to earn love through suffering? Cool, let's do literally anything else then. 8 distinct nervous system modes that show up when ADHD meet developmental stress. The mode that your nervous system might be in is greatly going to influence your ADHD treatment. For a breakdown of each mode, I'm halfway through a series breaking down each one in detail. Check out the playlist right here. And if you want to go deeper on ADHD medication and my process with adults, I got a playlist for you right here. And go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to keep receiving practical strategies from a nurse practitioner who won't sell you short.